Hey beautiful flowers, it's Rose and today's first story is Am I the a-hole for bringing my sister-in-law's wallet to the restaurant after she conveniently forgot it? Let's get into it. My female 28 sister-in-law, Amy, female 26, always comes to visit from out of town. She stays with us instead of a hotel and always wants to go to expensive restaurants. She always conveniently forgets her wallet or comes up with some excuses as to why she can't pay her share. She has implied that since I make so much more money than her, I should be the one to pay. No, not my husband, but me specifically. I do make a fair amount of money, but not so much that I can treat someone every time they come into town. Nonetheless, in the past, I have just paid the bill and asked her to pay me back. She never has. She had made a reservation at an extremely expensive restaurant last night, and before we left, I made it clear that I wouldn't be paying her bill. This is where I might be the a-hole, and I'll admit I got this move straight from an episode of 2.5 Men. As we were leaving, her and my husband went to the car. I pretended I forgot something and went back inside. I found her wallet sitting right on top of her suitcase. I put it in my purse and we went to the restaurant. When we were done eating, I asked for separate bills. She said no, we needed one bill because she forgot her wallet again. I reached in my purse and said, "This wallet?" She was extremely furious. She said that I should not have touched or grabbed her wallet. So am I the a-hole for taking her wallet and bringing it to the restaurant? So in my opinion, you're definitely not the a-hole, OP. She obviously did this on purpose. Otherwise, she wouldn't have gotten mad at you. Of course, you shouldn't be going through people's things, but she left it on her suitcase. This has been a pattern, and she clearly just wanted to force you to pay it again. So not the a-hole, and in the future, make sure before leaving that she has her wallet, or don't go out to eat with her, or I don't know, but let's see what Reddit has to say. Lady Grey Owl says, "Not the a-hole, I would have done the same. She's only furious because you called her on her crap and beat her at her own game." Exactly. If she genuinely forgot her wallet, she would be thanking you for having the forethought to remember it for her since she's so forgetful. Dixter6969 says, "What a move. Not the a-hole, found that quite funny, good job." Jizzy Lizzy says, "Not the a-hole, but you should totally have flipped the switch. Left your wallet at home, only brought your license, so she had to cover the whole bill, then never taken her out to a restaurant again." I actually think it's better that you did it this way instead of making her pay for the whole bill, because if you had done that, then you would have just done exactly the same thing that you find frustrating with her. And then this way, when she got mad, it's obvious she got mad because she didn't want to pay her part. If you had forgotten your wallet, then she could have gotten mad because she had to pay your part, and then that makes it a little bit more blurry and less obvious that she's taking advantage of you. Addison Avenue says, "For real, OP thinks she has a sister-in-law problem, but really she has a husband problem. Like, why is hubby so chill with Amy constantly making OP pay, unless he implicitly agrees with his sister that since OP is so flush with cash, she should." And yeah, that's a good point. Her husband should be speaking up for her since they're going out to eat together, and each time his sister isn't paying. Am I the a-hole for suing my parents for my college money? My great aunt set up a savings account for all of her female relatives. In our culture, education for women is not really valued, and she thought that was BS. She lived with her father in London, where she was educated. She went on to attend university and become a doctor. She married a British man, they moved to America, and had a great life. She funded the education of as many of her nieces and grandnieces as she could. When she passed away, she left money for every girl relative she could. My parents managed to access the accounts that were set up for my sister and I, and they used it to pay for my brother's wedding. My sister didn't care because she got married 2 years out of high school and had no intention of going to college. When I graduated, I went to the bank to get money for school, and it was almost all gone. There was like $13,000 left. I asked my parents about it, and they said they had needed the money. I finally found out where the money went. I was furious. I got student loans and moved out. I am a great source of shame to them, and I don't give two Fs. I am currently suing them for the money that was left to me. For my entire family is against me. They all think I'm a complete a-hole for airing private family business in public, and that I'm putting money ahead of family. My friends are all on my side, but they are all Americans and don't really get my culture. Neither do I, to be honest. My brother called me up and offered to pay for my university if I dropped the lawsuit. I agreed as long as we had a legally binding contract. He said I was being an a-hole for not trusting him. I said he should not have accepted my money for his wedding. It is causing all kinds of embarrassment in our community. I am somewhat ashamed to be doing this, but I don't want to have this debt I should not have. The fact that your brother offered to pay for the money that was spent in his wedding, but then getting mad at you if you don't just blindly trust his word is a big red flag in my opinion. And also it is mind-blowing that your parents spent that much money on his wedding when it was meant for you, for your education. And that's so much more important than just a big party. You can have a wedding for very little money if you choose to. And if you do want that big fancy party, you can. That's totally fine, as long as it's your own money and you're not putting someone else into debt for that. So let's see what Reddit has to say. Timely Ask says, not the a-hole. Your parents didn't borrow your money, they stole it. I hope you have all the documents to show that money was yours. Your brother is also the a-hole for trying to get you to drop a lawsuit with what is most likely a lie. If you have a chance to start a life without student debt, do whatever you can to do that. Your parents, and I'm sorry, but their culture sound completely toxic. I'm glad you got out. OP replies, the student law center at my university is helping me with everything. I have proof that this money was mine. I'm trying to do everything I can so that this does not become a criminal matter. Ryhawk replies, I'm sorry, but this is a criminal matter. If this was for American University, you're talking 200 to 300,000. Theft of that much is jail time. Nutty Nugatti responds, and to spend on a wedding, a total waste of money, not the a-hole. Exactly, that's so much money for a wedding. So Reddit has deemed this person not the a-hole, and there's an update. It's over. I got my money. I have also pretty much been disowned by my family, but I consider that a win as well. My parents ended up having to mortgage some property to pay me back for what they stole. My family is embarrassed that I forced them to this point after they had offered to pay me back in installments. Nobody is willing to answer me when I ask what would make my parents pay me back if I was stupid enough to trust them. I have been told that I will never find a husband from our culture with my belligerent attitude and strident independence. I laughed. I do not want anything to do with that culture, except perhaps enjoy the food. I plan on never returning to that country. I am enjoying the independence I have achieved, and I'm more than happy to know that several other of the young women in my family have taken steps to lock down the education funds left for them. For those of you that think it is sexist that my great aunt only cared about educating women, please die angry. So I do get how some people may say, oh, the aunt is only leaving money for the girls, that's not fair. But you have to keep in mind that in some cultures, the girls would get no education at all if they are not helped out by some people who do think that girls do deserve an education, and that will put them at such a disadvantage. Without getting that education, they have to fully depend on either their family or their future husbands for financial support, and that makes them vulnerable to cases of abuse. And of course, in an ideal world, she would be able to support her whole family, but that's not realistic. So I understand that she focused on the girls who are more vulnerable. Let's read some comments. Usagi Shinobi says, it always cracks me up when someone does something terrible and then gets mad when they get caught because of how it looks to other people, as though it's perfectly fine to be lower than garbage as long as no one finds out. Poignant Arinaria responds, it's pretty ironic, isn't it? It's like some people care more about their image than actually being decent. It's all about appearances rather than genuine integrity. Seems like getting caught is the only thing they regret, not the wrongdoing itself. Xanif quotes that her parents said that she'll never find a husband from their culture with her attitude and says, don't threaten me with a good time. Like, exactly, why would her parents think that she would want a husband with that attitude, since that goes against her values? So that's it for today. Make sure to subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!